Hello, welcome to another Gundam Operation 2 video. That is the new suit, the Alex CA, which I believe stands for Chobham armor. Might be Chobham, however you want to pronounce that. I think we'll be saying Chobham, but yeah, this is surprisingly a raid unit. And a lot of people are expecting this, including me, to be either a general or a support, but no, this is straight up just a raid. It's a pretty unique raid in terms of it has a skill, which is like the Delta Gundam's beam skill, but with ballistics instead. Pretty interesting. And of course, this has opened up a bit of a dialogue where you have two sides, one that says the suit is really amazing, and one side that says the suit is mid or average even. Some people even say it's bad. But we'll get into it when we get to it in the pros and cons and the skills and whatnot. But right now we're going to start off with the, well, I do have two matches here for you. And this first one's going to be on Colony Drop area. And it's going to be my best match, which is unfortunate because this match was kind of in terms of what the enemy team was doing. I didn't feel like I was fighting the entire enemy team, or I wasn't fighting an enemy team. The second match is going to be a little bit more better about that, where I can kind of gauge how useful the suit would be in an actual match. That's going to be on Arctic base. This one's going to be, like I said, in Colony Drop area. And, yeah, we'll see how we do. And I always mention this every time. I'm not a raid player, so I'm going to be doing a lot of sloppy work here. You'll definitely notice it whenever I'm trying to go after the Gelga cannon. I think I fucked up my weapon swapping. I just went for a neutral swing on him with my fists anyway while he's on the ground. It's like, oh well, yeah, I forgot the fists don't reach that low. So yeah. So again, it's gonna be a little bit sloppy, but it should at least get the job done and showcasing what this suit can do. Also, if I do sound a little bit more nasally or if I sniffle a little bit, I do apologize. You know, allergies are starting to come in good old Texas. So yeah, it's gonna be fucking me up. But all right, let's get right into the stats now for this suit. Starting off, as I said, this is a 450 raid. You have 15,000 health with 32 ballistic, 30 beam, and 31 melee resistance. Wow, we're starting off already. You have five range strength, 35 melee strength. You have 125 movement speed with 200 boost speed, 60 thruster gauge, and 69 turning speed. Nice. In 4 slots, you have 15 close, 11 mid, and 6 long range slots. And yeah, you can already tell this suit, you definitely can build this very tanky. You know, 32 ballistic, 30 beam, and 31 resistances just straight off the bat. Pretty good. However, you do have to keep in mind that you will be fighting a majority of generals, or yeah, the majority of the enemy team will be generals. More often than not, you know, in case you're fighting a meme team of raids or or supports, but they're going to be mostly generals. They will do a lot more, 30% more damage to you because of the advantage typing they have. So you do have to be careful on how you want to build this, in which direction. For me, I did build a little bit more melee resistance. I gave myself more melee strength, and I did give myself leg armor because I noticed that whenever I was fighting the typical 450 suits like the Jetta and whatnot, my legs were suffering a little bit. So I went ahead and buffed that up as well. And I think I had a little bit of long-range part slots left over, so I added a little bit to range just because. But yeah, obviously you can do some stuff like a health build or a thruster gauge build because you do have active guard on this suit, by the way. So you know, spoil the skill that you have. So yeah, thruster gauge part might be pretty nice for this suit. And yeah, that'll pretty much be it for the stats here. And again, you have 5 range strength, so probably not. We don't want to focus too much on range, right? So, yeah, now we're on to the weapons here. Starting off with your primary weapons, you have the Alex beam rifle, which is 950 damage with 30% heat rate, 400 range, and you can charge this if you want to. If you're not going to charge it, it takes 3 hits normally to get a stun accumulation-wise. And you can charge this to get an instant stun, and I believe a little bit more range and definitely more damage. Yeah, it's just the Alex beam rifle, just on a raid instead. When you have 5 range strength, so it's not going to be doing a fuck ton of damage, right? It's almost kind of like a utility. A lot of this suit's weapons are going to be more, I feel like for me, a little bit more utility-wise to help you approach to get to somebody, right? So the Alex Beam Rifle can definitely try and help out with that, where you'll definitely be having more DPS and more versatility with this weapon. But if you want to, you can swap this out with the Alex Hyper Bazooka. Just like the regular Alex, you have 1,500 damage, 8 rounds, and 300 range. This is, again, just a very basic stunning weapon. It's a bazooka. However, it does work pretty well with this suit because of, one of its other skills, the ballistic skill we'll mention when we get to the skills list. It'll prevent you from getting stunned, I believe, when you're at super close range. You can shoot at your own feet, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So you can definitely just get real close to somebody, fire it at your feet or their feet, and go straight to melee. And of course, it's just going to be an easier weapon to use because it is a bazooka. So if you're not used to the Alex Beam Rifle, or you're not very good at those kind of weapons, well, you do have a choice to pick the bazooka instead, and it can work just as well. You know, you do have weapons that kind of help, other sub weapons that kind of help you. Where, okay, well, you won't be having as much versatility with the beam rifle, but you still do have pretty good stun accumulation weapons, or a weapon that's pretty good at that. So yeah, but for me, I think. Both these matches are going to be using the beam rifle, but I have noticed I did a little bit better in some situations with the bazooka. But alright, now we're on to your melee primary weapon. That is the CA Beam Saber ×2, which is 2,200 damage. And yeah, that is I believe the melee swings are reminiscent of the Gem 3 powered. The downswing, I know for sure I've seen that on some other suits that have the double beam sabers, and the neutral, oh my goodness, the neutral swing I've also seen as well. And yeah, it can do some pretty good damage, especially if you're going to do a melee build. And now we're on to the, I should also say the downswing. You'll see this towards the end of the match, of the first match here. The downswing is kind of wonky at close range, wonky enough to where it will completely fly over a Gelgu cannon. And unfortunately, that's what maybe end up losing, because I missed that one crucial swing, right? Which, spoiler alert, it's going to be a very close match. A very close match. But yeah, be careful when you are doing that downswing. It does have some pretty good reach on it. Just be careful around teammates and all that good stuff. Alright, now we're on to the secondary weapons. Starting off, you have the CA Arm 90mm Gatling gun, which is 110 damage per shot with 45 rounds and 175 range. I don't remember exactly what the differences are between this and the Alex's, or what the Alex's Gatling arm can do stun accumulation wise. But I know this suit, it is pretty fast accumulation wise, where you can almost just use this alone to get a stun. It takes around 13 to get a stun, 13 rounds. And it has a very fast firing rate. You can see me just using it to approach quite often. Maybe, and, it's even better when you're using the beam rifle, because the beam rifle, it takes takes 3 hits to stun. You can fire 1 or 2, and then go into your Gatling gun and try and get a faster stun accumulation. So that's definitely a possibility. And because of its fast firing rate, you can do some decent damage whenever your teammates are around. You don't want to melee everybody around you. So. You can support a little bit with that. However, do keep in mind it is pretty close range, so it's not going to be the best at just if you're approaching from mid range. You're going to be wasting a lot of your ammo before you get close enough to get a very fast stun, right? But unfortunately, though, mission failed for this first match here, and we'll take a look at what we got going on. We did get top individual, top assist, and almost 140k, 140k damage. We're just barely there, just barely. Gonna praise some people, and hey, first place, 7-2. Yeah, unfortunately, that downswing, it missed the Gelgu cannon. He got away, and I went for another one. He countered me, unfortunately. But hey, now we're on to the second match here on Arctic Base. We'll see how we do, and we have a second Chobham armor with us as well. But all right. The Gatling gun, like I said, short range, but does have pretty good stun accumulation. Works really well with your active guard, which, hey, another weapon, I already spoiled that skill. I said another weapon, what the fuck, another skill? Hey guys, here's your weapon, the active guard. Alright, now we're on to your second melee weapon, which is going to be the CA Blow Melee, which is 1,600 damage. And yeah, this has the same melee moveset, I believe, as the gun cannons, and the downswing is the kick. which is pretty fun, honestly, just to walk up to somebody, punch them, and then kick them. And the reason I say punch and then kick is that the neutral swing, actually no, all the swings except for the downswing, they will cause heavy stagger. So you actually have a heavy staggering melee weapon. And because of how fast you can swap between your melees, you can actually combo, just keep somebody in a heavy stagger stun lock. I think you'll see that in one of these two matches. Might have been another match I had recorded. But yeah, you can go for the neutral swing on the fist, get a heavy stagger, go straight to your beam sabers, neutral, side swing if you want to kind of space it out, and then you go straight back into your fist for another heavy stagger. And if you can probably bait out somebody to do a dodge roll, so you can heavy stagger them, do your beam sabers, wait a little bit. They'll probably do a dodge roll if they're afraid of the follow-ups, right? If you read them correctly. They'll do a dodge roll, and hey, back to the heavy stagger, right? Just put them in a wheel of pain, essentially. So yeah, pretty nice. It does do some pretty good damage. It is pretty fun to use, admittedly, pretty fun to use, just walking up to somebody and just punching them and kicking them in the face. Comboing into your beam sabers and all that good stuff. And of course, you can also do stuff like, use your beam sabers first, and then go into the fist to get a heavy stagger lock, right? Just like that. Well, I say just like that. Nothing happened in the screen. I died. I mean, just like that. Like, yeah, you can do it just like that. There we go. And yeah, just be careful though. It is pretty short range. You are using fists after all. So, all right. Final sub weapon here is the head-mounted Vulcan. My bad. The CA head-mounted Vulcan, which is 100 damage, 30 rounds, 200 range, and yeah, they're Vulcans. They do have at least some kind of stun accumulation. However, it takes nearly all of your shots to get a stun, so it's not the best. Obviously, you probably want to use it to, I guess, last desperation to get a stun, right? If you somehow wasted everything else beforehand. And of course, you can use it for typical Vulcan things like finishing off low health enemies, really low health enemies. I should add, because you do have 5 range strength, by the way. I can keep mentioning that. Or you can obviously do it to take out pilots as well. So Vulcans are really effective against pilots. People keep forgetting that. Alright, now we're on to the skills. You have Shock Absorber level 3, Assault Booster, you have Balancers, you have Melee Combo Controller. That's 2 melee swings, which I should also add that both of your melees will do 2 swings. It's not just only 1 swing with the fist, it is 2 swings. You have MBAC level 2, you have Radar, you have Damage Control level 1, and that is basically if you're getting shot by a stun accumulation weapon. Let's say it's a Alex that's going to try and stun you with 3 hits on his beam rifle. Well, now it's going to take a 4th hit to stun you, depending on the stun accumulation, right? I don't know exactly the stagger values for the Alex's beam rifle, but just an example, right? If it takes 3, it'll probably take more. Another shot, or maybe another 2 shots, who knows? You do have Maneuver Armor level 2. Also, you like that I baited out the pilot here? And then I do nothing afterwards. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm not going to plant a bomb now. You have Maneuver Armor level 2, where basically you can absorb instant stuns while you're boosting, and you do take less damage while doing it. I believe 10% or 15%, one of those. You do have Enhanced Tackle level 5, where you do more damage when you're tackling. You have Blast Stabilizer, so Mobile Suit Explosions will not heavy stagger you if you're near them. You do have Active Guard, as we mentioned earlier. You press the touchpad button, and you'll do a pose, and you'll take, I believe, 70% less damage, which, with how tanky the suit already is, yeah, that can be... You can be a pretty tanky boy, especially at 450, right? Having those high of stats and, taking 70% less damage. Pretty nice. However, it's only Active Guard level 1. It's not the insane Active Guard level 3 that Gustav Karl has, where you can boost and then immediately after boosting do your Active Guard. It does take almost until you stop moving from a boost to activate it, which is very unfortunate because there's plenty of times where I'll get out of boosting and I'm trying to press the touchpad button. And they'll shoot somebody. They'll shoot somebody. Yeah, they'll shoot somebody because of what I did. They'll shoot me with an instant stun rifle, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, well I just got stunned. Great. So keep in mind that you're not gonna be able to pull out instantly, right? And it does consume your thruster gauge while you have it active. So keep that in mind. That's why I mentioned that thruster gauge build might be a pretty good idea for the suit if you're into that kind of stuff. If you're really good at reading opponents and doing your doing your follow-ups after that, right? And then finally, you have a new skill, which I mentioned before, is just the Delta Gundam's a little bit different than Delta Gundam's beam skill. It's just with ballistic instead. And yeah, it's the Chobham armor. When you're attacked by ballistic weapons, your damage is reduced by 50%. So that's a pretty huge margin. And reactions to instant staggers, you know, like if somebody shoots instant stun, you won't get stunned, like a bazooka, right? If somebody shoots a heavy stagger weapon, like let's say if you're at 500 against the Type B full armor, it will do a regular stagger. And I believe with this, the build stagger for ballistic weapons is also nullified, which means, I'm pretty sure this means that a shotgun suit like the Ifrit or the, you know, more commonly the Camphor at 450, they won't stun you. And in fact, I think there's a video I'm going to try and find to post at some point, or not post, to maybe I can put in the descriptions or whatnot, where I watched somebody play an Alex, the CA, and Camphor he shot his missiles, and then he went straight for the shotgun shells, didn't even flinch him at all. So yeah, seemingly nullifies stun buildup, stun accumulation from ballistic weapons, which is pretty crazy. Now, however, with this skill, there is a pretty massive downside, and that is whenever you're at 50% health, your ballistic resistance will drop all the way to 0. Just like with the Delta Gundam, with beam weapons, yeah, you'll have 0 ballistic weapons, or ballistic resistances, and you'll no longer be able to, you know, stun accumulation will work on you again. You can get staggered normally, or instant staggered normally. If you're not boosting, of course. You still have maneuver armor to kind of help out with that, but still, you can get boosted. You can get killed pretty fast. Which I guess will lead into the pros and cons. And before we get into that, here's the end of this second match here. Mission completed. I don't think we did too well, or not super amazing, right? We did get top assist, and we did get top diversion, which is pretty nice for an active guard suit, right? Absorbing some damage, right? And then, hey, 4th place, 3 and 4, a lot of pursuit assists, but yeah, it wasn't the best match, but it did help kind of showcase how this suit can do against more of a team, right? Not just randomly trying to find a person and killing them, right? That's kind of how it felt like the last match. But yeah, now we're on to the pros and cons, starting off with the cons. To be honest, the Chobham armor, I don't really think this skill is necessary on this suit. Don't get me wrong, having that nullification of ballistic accumulation buildup is really amazing. Having the ability to take 50% less damage and not get stunned whatsoever from ballistic weapons is pretty nice. But the thing with 450 is that 450 is when beam weapons start becoming really prevalent. You'll have a good mix of both ballistic and beam weapon suits at this cost, and some of them even have either or for sub weapons, right? So if you're going to be standing in front of somebody who has a beam rifle, and you're not going to be, you know, if you're just trying to shoot them with something, you have to stand still, right? Or you're not boosting, you're not using your maneuver armor, you can get stunned normally by a beam rifle, and you can get comboed pretty easily. You know, normally, you know, if you get stunned, you can get melee comboed. You know, that doesn't help against melees. And yeah, once you reach that 50% health, yeah, any general or support or raid who has a ballistic weapon, they're going to look at you and they're going to start licking their lips. They're going to start licking their chops and just going, yeah, you look like a pretty juicy target, right? It's, and you can die absurdly fast. This suit cannot handle getting jumped well at all when it comes to these kind of mixes of suits, right? Which I guess can lead into the second part here, where the suit doesn't have a dodge roll. Now, you do have maneuver armor, you have active guard, but yeah, once you get jumped, you can start getting stun locked. It's going to be hard to get out of, and yeah, if you commit, you better make sure you commit. If you don't, you're probably going to end up dying, depending on the suits the enemy team has. Jetta, very dangerous suit. Gym powered, pretty dangerous suit as well. Any suits that with beam rifle stuns are going to be very, very brutal against you. Um, yeah, once you reach that 50% health, it is you might die in the next few seconds, depending on, again, depends on what's happening, right? Having zero ballistic resistance fucking sucks. Same thing as with the Delta Gundam, where having zero beam resistance fucking sucks. Honestly, I really hate this skill idea, where it activates at 50% health and your resistance is dropped to zero. Really, really do not like this set of skills. It makes a little bit more sense with the Delta Gundam, seeing how there's a majority of beam weapons being used at its own cost. I mean, it still sucks when you have 50% health and everybody has a beam weapon, right? But yeah, you have a healthy amount of mixed up weapons at 450. So you can honestly be fighting beam suits the entire time, and as soon as you hit that 50% health, oh, here comes the camphor, you know? Yeah, here comes the camphor, just whistling, on his way there to shotgun your ass. So you can be fighting beam weapons the entire match, and then the very unfortunate timing where, yeah, you're at 50% health, yeah, you're about to get blown the fuck up. Or, hey, Jed is going to do his downswing combo and then use his hip missiles or hip grenades to pretty much kill you. Which, yeah, you have to keep in mind, you are a raid, so generals will be doing 30% more damage to you. So, yeah. At times, the suit doesn't feel as tanky. And honestly, I think getting rid of the Chobham skill, I think would make the suit a little bit better for me to play. I think for a lot of people as well. I'm trying to think of some other significant downsides. I'm gonna go ahead and go straight to the pros. For the pros, you do have a good amount of weapons on you. You do have the Gatling gun has really amazing stun accumulation. You can get a pretty fast stun with that. You do have the two melee weapons, the CA blow melee, the fists. They do heavy stagger. You can go right into your beam sabers for a combo, or beam sabers into the fists. You can choose between the Alex beam rifle or for more versatility, or the bazooka for more basic stun straight into your melees. A lot better for that, right? So yeah, you have some decent weapons that can work pretty well if you apply them correctly, and it can do some pretty great rush down with this suit. You'll see me chasing people after doing a melee, they'll dodge roll, then I'll just chase them with my other melee, right? Get a heavy stagger, all that good stuff. Works pretty well doing that, helping out the team like that. Which honestly, now that I think about it, the suit does feel more of like a. To me, it doesn't feel like it's one of those kind of raids you want to just push past the enemy team and go straight for the support. Having, obviously the support's by themselves and they're not being protected. Yeah, sure, you can go straight for them, but yeah, if there's a whole enemy team, they can delete you pretty fast if you're not careful. If you make a mistake, you can probably die. So this suit plays pretty well with the team. I do wish it was a general. Really wish it was a general. Some more pros is that you do have really good skills. You do have balancers, melee combo controllers, basic stuff like that. You do have damage control and maneuver armor level 2. Makes it really hard for you to get stunned. You have enhanced tackle for, more combo potential. Try and finish off somebody. Blast stabilizer, most explosions don't affect you. Again, active guard can be really helpful at keeping yourself alive. And even though I was talking shit about the Chobham armor, I mean, just if you're fighting against a majority of generals are using ballistic weapons, it's going to be really hard to deal with you, because the ballistic weapons won't be working on them at all, or working on you. They won't be stunning you. Of course, you'll be taking 50% less damage. That's still, you'll be taking 50% less damage. You just have to be very careful in regards to suits that don't have ballistic weapons, or that have a mix of those weapons, right? Because you will be taking typical damage from beam weapons. It can be really, again, like I said, you can be fighting beam weapons at 50% health. Here comes Mr. Ballistic over here, right? But yeah, that'll be in this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you want. I'd really appreciate it. And type up a comment in the comment section how you feel about the Alex Chobham armor. Do you like it? Do you hate it? And honestly, after discussing and looking through everything, watching other people play this, I have very mixed feelings on the suit. It's a very mixed bag. On one hand, you have some really amazing, just kind of getting in there and just doing kind of these melee combos coming in. If you're dealing with ballistic suits, you can ignore them almost seemingly. But man, if the enemy team wants you dead, I'm pretty sure more than likely you will be dead if your teammates are coming in to help. To me, it feels like the suit is super reliant on what your team is doing and what suits the enemy team is picking. Like I said, if you're fighting, 450 has a bunch of different mixes of ballistic and beam weapons. If you're going into a match against just beam weapon suits, well, obviously, your ballistic skill doesn't really help out there. And if you are fighting against suits that have ballistic weapons, if you have 50% health, yeah, it's going to go down pretty fast if you're going to fight them. Yeah, it's a very... I'm not sure how to articulate how I feel completely about this suit. I feel like I need to play a little bit more of this to kind of get a full scope. But, again, I've seen a lot of people questioning on whether the suit is good or not. And I guess for me, I'm going to put it at average, a little bit of, I want to say a little bit above average, but I'm not getting too much of crazy numbers with this suit compared to other raids I've been playing, or at least I played it in the past, like the Nero Trainer, all that good stuff. So to me, do I recommend this? I'm going to go with, if you really like the Alex, if you like the Chobham armor, if you feel like this kind of suit really appeals to you, then sure, go ahead and roll for it. But yeah, for me, the Chobham armor skill really kind of kills the suit for me, where otherwise it has pretty amazing, for me, it feels really fun to play whenever stuff goes your way. But yeah, whenever that Chobham armor skill deactivates, it can be a real tough time trying to play that suit, especially if the enemy team is very consistent in taking you out. So it really, really depends on what the enemy team is going to be picking. And I don't feel like taking a chance every time I want to play a match, right? I already do that enough, but which I guess to kind of describe the Chobham armor, Alex. It just feels it doesn't feel consistent. It feels inconsistent. I'm not getting super consistent matches with it like I would. Like usually when I'm playing a raid, even if I suck with the raid, at least I can get a consistent kind of score with it. But yeah, like I said, depending on what the enemy team is doing, you can have a match where you get amazing like 130k damage to 80k damage, and you can drop all the way to 40k damage, right? Or individual score, right, will be varying as much as well. So yeah, again, if you really like the suit, I'd roll it if you want to. For me, I'll probably just continue playing some other raid. I gotta think about what I play at 450 again, raid-wise. I usually play not raids, like I mentioned before, but Nero Trainer is still pretty crazy suit, right? So it'd be interesting to see if the suit does actually do better as time goes on. It'll be interesting to see how it does at higher costs, since there will be just beam weapons at that. There's not going to be as much ballistic stuff going around. And yeah, of course, I do want to see how other good players will play this suit. I've watched a healthy amount of videos, and again, they're very inconsistent, where some players would be doing fine, and then some suits, Jesus Christ, some players would be doing pretty amazing, and they'll just have just garbage matches the next 10 matches, right? It's just inconsistent, like I said. But yeah, that'll be it, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.